With that said, being on stock Android was really awesome as well. I really liked being on stock Android. I know we made that video that people were like, oh my god, so angry about because they couldn't watch a whole video and understand threat modeling well enough to understand like why I was using stock Android for a brief time. How sometimes your worst enemy can actually be your friend. My very first smartphone I ever got was an iPhone 4, and then I got an iPhone 5S, and then from there I got the Nexus 6P, which I never used with stock Android. I immediately put a custom ROM on it, then eventually I got the Pixel 3a and the 3a XL, which I used for a lot of testing here on Techlore, and I daily drove that 3a with Calyx OS. So I recently got this Pixel 6 used, and this is my newest phone. I hope to keep it for the full 5 years of software updates, and I immediately flashed Calyx on it, as I normally do, but this last week, we're back on stock. I have 3 main reasons to share with you. And again, this is a me video. This isn't necessarily a recommendation to anybody.
You serious?
I still generally recommend custom ROMs to most people. First, I want to start out by saying I am beginning to trust smaller projects a lot less as my journey continues, mainly from a security point of view, but privacy as well. So just a somewhat related example, many of the browsers that you see on F-Droid are days, weeks, or even sometimes months behind on security updates, which is a massive issue. So the researcher reported this to Google, and Google said that the issue was a duplicate, which first off, might not even be true, and we'll get to that soon. But second, if it's a duplicate, why was it not fixed? So, and now we're going to get to the weird part, trying to address those questions. They said that this is not normally eligible for a bug bounty because it's a duplicate, and Google failed to act for some weeks before repeated chasing by the researcher, and they did a demo of the exploits to Google staffers at a Google-run bug hunter event in September. So they knew about this back in September, didn't patch it till November. Which is already very strange. Shortly after this, Google said that even though the report was a duplicate, it had only started working on a fix because of their submission. So either Google was lying and didn't know about it, in that case, they shouldn't have called it a duplicate, or Google was telling the truth and they did know about this and they didn't fix it. I also trust the company. Both of those are pretty serious issues. The firm decided to pay even though those ROMs might actually give $70 bounty for the lock number of privacy and security features. I don't know what this response is from Google. Calyx. With that said, there is one big security feature that is on stock. Google Advanced Protection Program.
Is this guy a retard?
Google Advanced Protection Program is designed for journalists and people with high threat models who need a much higher degree of security.
You serious?
This is seriously important, and there's a reason why journalists rely on it, politicians, and now I want to as well. These are the people that are some of the highest targets in the world, and there's a reason why they use this program. In fact, a lot of the privacy and security tools that you rely on likely internally use the Google Advanced Protection Program to protect themselves to make sure they're pushing safe software to you. I am in contact with them, but I don't know which I can publicly talk about. But pretty much I'm having to pick my enemies here, and this is unfortunately the lesser of two evils. If you're a whistleblower and you're someone like Edward Snowden and you're trying to avoid your own government from catching you, this is a terrible decision to make. It's obviously not the correct approach.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Google Advanced Protection Program is designed for journalists and people with high threat models who need a much higher degree of security. This is seriously important, and there's a reason why journalists rely on it, politicians, and now I want to as well. These are the people that are some of the highest targets in the world, and there's a reason why they use this program. I know we made that video that people were like, oh my god, so angry about because they couldn't watch a whole video and understand threat modeling well enough to understand like why I was using stock Android for a brief time.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.